Hi, everyone. My name is Selene Ornelas, and today I'm going to talk about the prioritization of potential motivations that affect the decision to adopt innovations focused on circular economy at the farm level in the region of Catalonia, Spain. This work is part of the project Nutri2Cycle, a project from the European Union. And this research, I worked with collaborating with the Dr. Zein. Well, first of all, I will begin this presentation with a short introduction. Next, I will present you the aim of this study, and followed by the methodology and the results. And finally, I will present you the conclusions. Okay, well, in the introduction, like some of you know, the future is uncertain for world food security in the context marked by strong growth in food consumption, high volatility in agricultural prices, low world food reserves, and climate change. And in related to the last point, food production has a big challenge. The challenge is the reduction of greenhouse emissions and the nutrient recovery. Implementing innovative and more sustainable solutions in food production where circular economy actions are involved allow us to reduce negative effects on environments. So, farmers' adoption of new technologies and innovative solutions focused on circular economy at the farm level, such as the recovery of nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus in farms, like transformation of soil into biofertilizers, can significantly improve the efficiency of the use of the resource as well as the recovery of nutrients. So creating a better synergies between animal breeding and crop productions as greenhouse emissions reduction. So exist some motivations that influence farmers and on adoptions of innovations and new technological solutions in which the principles of circularity are applied. Now, the motivations that influence to a greater extent to adopt the more sustainable practices has governments to design policies and efficient programs for environmental conservation. Regarding to this last point I mentioned in the previous slide, this study was carried out, and the studied area is located in Manresa, in a region of the Catalonia in Spain, where participants from the pig sector were invited to participate with us and make stakeholders from the pig sector were invited to help us to identify which are the principal oh my god, I lost the word, the principal motivations, sorry, the principal motivations that affect them to select or not or decide or not introduce the innovations related to the pig sector in their activity, or if they doesn't want to participate. So regarding this, the innovation that was presented to the stakeholders was from the agri-food sector, from the pig sector, were invited the participants to give us to the regarding proposed innovations and indicate both also advantage, also the disadvantage that they believe that the adoption may have on the environment, in addition to the motivations that will drive them to embrace the innovation. The innovation presented, like I mentioned before, was the innovation related to the slurry treatment at the pig sector, and was identified like low temperature ammonium striping using vacuum. The objective of this study is principally to identify and prioritize the main motivations of the stakeholders from the production side of the agri-food value chain that are involved in the adoption of the circular agricultural solutions at the farm level. The agri-food value chain is integrated by disintegrated by the two sides, the product side and the demand side. In the product side, farmers, industry, and institutions are the participants. So in this case, we focus only in the production side because they are the responsibles to adopt the innovation that we are proposing in this case. The literature review allows us to identify some factors that are involved in the decision of adopt or not adopt some innovations. They are the legislation and regulations, some pressure license to operate, the feasibility to practice of the innovations, improve working conditions of the farms and workers' health, perception of the social acceptance of about the innovation applied, the consumer preference, market strength, also the ability to use environmental and social benefits are branded advancements, overall sustainability of business and sustainability of business model in a long term. Another factors that affect the adoption is farmer characteristics, the farm structure, also the innovation characteristics, and another exogenous factors. About according to the literature review, we could identify that the factors that affect the adoption of the innovation are divided in sustainable motivations. These are economic, social, and environmental motivations. And the economic motivations, the most important, the motivations were identified like if the innovation is accompanied by subsidies, if the innovation reduces the farm costs, if the innovation in inversion of the beginning of the innovation is low, if the innovation increases the farm productivity, also if the innovation sales price by market level is transmitted to the cost, and if the innovation is not representing a financial risk for the farmers. In the social motivations, they mentioned that the create job is a social motivation. Improve the working condition is another social motivation. Market image improve it is in the society is another social motivation. The demand. Consumers' demand for more sustainable farming products, also improve the work-life balance is another motivation, and adopt other the feel accompanied with the adoption of other farmers of the innovation is a social motivation too. For environment. For the environmental motivations, improve the compliance with the environmental regulations, reduce wear in the farm, reduce energy consumption in the farm, reduce ammonia, slurry, and manure. And if the innovation reduce farms replace outdoors, also the replace synthetic fertilizer by organic ones is another motivation, are the motivations related with the environment. Well, when we select the ISAHP methodology, We select it because that is a multi-criterial analysis methodology that increases making the decision making based on different qualitative and quantitative attributes, and is used to measure intangibles using human judgment, like pair comparisons, and it allows us to break down and analyze the problem by parts, and has a mathematical basis. To prioritize the potential determinants factors that are identified like motivations for adoption, assessed through the analytical process technique, where we divide the determinants in some clusters according to the different motivations that we identify, like sustainable motivations. Each cluster was analyzed through the peer comparisons scale defined by Sati, and using that structure for the peer comparison, and the global and the general matrix to analyze the general matrix, or to identify the weight of each of the general motivations like economic, social, and environmental. We use a matrix of with 3 attributes, and the peer comparison is like the same like is here. Responders has to indicate which of the 2 elements considered is more important to adopt in the farm level using 9 scale, and to measure the strength of the importance through the verbal usage. This is the example for one of the matrix that was confirmed with the economic motivations, and here are the results of the comparisons made by one of the stakeholders that participate in our focus group, made to consolidate all the comparisons. After we make the comparisons, we calculate the relative and the consistency of the peer comparisons, and decide which of them have to be done again, or which are correct to continue with the model. Results show us that motivations for stakeholders from the production side are principally driven by the economic motivations, and the principal motivators for stakeholders and big sector are considered to reduce the farm and the cost on the farm, and that the investment in the innovation be low at the initial and at the beginning. And the third was the increase at the farm productivity. It's a normal results that we could imagine that will happen, because the purpose of these stakeholders principally is to produce and increase your sales. So that's why we could know that the model give us results that we could identify in general terms like positives. So like this is a environmental innovation, or focused on the environmental and the environmental. We try that identify if the innovations has a environmental motivations that afford the policymakers to introduce the innovation in the study area. So in this case, we could identify that the reduction of the amount of slurry and manure was the principal motivation from environmental motivations to adopt the innovation proposed. From the social motivation, the principal motivations that they have is to be accompanied, to feel accompanied. What it means that they want to see that another farmers from the area and other stakeholders are participating in this kind of innovations adoption, are having good results and which are the problems or the advantage that they have been found in the innovation. Well, in conclusions, the ISAHP facilitates the organization of the information and breaking down the problem and hierarchical structure. The decisions are made based on paired comparisons, convert subject judgment and relative importance into weights, and compare partial ordering of the alternatives can be obtained. The principal results, like I mentioned previously, the adoption of the decision of the farmer is mainly determined by economic motivation. Like I mentioned, was the cost reduction and the initial low environment, and the social for stakeholders from the public environmental motivations to adopt the proposed innovation are focuses on slurry and manure reduction and improve to compliance with environmental regulations. Principally, so policymaker has to implement regulations according to that stimulate adoption. And for that the innovation that has been adopted by other farmers is the most important social motivation. Also, we saw that there is not that doesn't have a high level of weight or rate. We can see that they like that another stakeholders from the region adopt the innovation, and that's why the government has to implement some dissemination strategies of the results and advantage and difficulties to help the new innovators to adopt the innovation. Well, thanks. That's all. Thanks for your attention.